on, guys? And welcome back to another episode of The Green Zone, the most elevated sports podcast. If you guys like what we got going on here, please like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Be a friend, tell a friend, share it with someone, pass it along to them, and drop something in the comment. Give us some ideas of what you guys want us to talk about in the future, or if you guys liked what we're talking about here, let us know down there. We'd love to hear what you guys think. Now, let's get into the episode. All right. Welcome back. We're talking Niners. This one should be a fun one because I fucking hate the Niners. It's not because of the players. It's not because of the coaches. It's because of their goddamn fans, you fake ass. You guys are just like LA fans, bro. Not you, Christian. Not you. But in general, if you're in the Bay Area, the most bandwagon type of area I've ever seen in my life, dude. It's them in LA. Unfortunately, I am a Lakers fan, so I have that kind of propensity around me too, but I understand it. I don't judge it. I got joining me today, my boy Christian. He's been on the pod. Oh no, actually, I think our episode got fucked up, but he's back again. We're talking Niners. He's an OG Niners fan. Christian, how you doing, bud?
I'm doing as good as I can be. I guess that's just kind of like what winning attracts is bandwagonness. So like you said, I get it. I get it. I'm not even going to deny it. The 49ers are kind of they're the one everybody loves to hate these days. So I
That's
get it. But yeah, the Warriors went through it too. I mean,
yeah.
they were the enemies for 4 straight years because of the whole Kevin Durant thing.
Yeah,
So
that's for sure. But
yeah,
you guys aren't enemy number one. That's the one thing. I think because I would say the Cowboys get more hate nationally. I don't know if the Chiefs get more hate. They kind of get more like I wouldn't call it hate, more like they just don't get the credit they deserve every year. They're more of like, oh, they're not going to be that good, and then they fucking win the Super Bowl. And it's like, okay, can we stop just hating on the Niners or the Chiefs? And then the Niners are just like, oh yeah, Kyle Shanahan, fucking great in the regular season, but we know he's going to fall apart at the end of the year. It's happened every single year. Something fucks up, just doesn't have enough to overcome it. Last year, the Super Bowl, you're literally going into overtime. What was it, 22-22 in the overtime? Was that what?
1919.
I don't remember.
I don't even know. I was going to say at one point during this podcast, like I haven't watched the Super Bowl since, but
You went into
yeah,
overtime,
I
and
know I think it was 1919 into going
you're
in
right.
over.
You're right, because you guys went down, kicked a field goal. They came down, scored a touchdown. Yeah,
Which
you're
why
right. Because you're the Niners, but Kyle Shanahan
why
has
why
the wrong
why they kick
decision.
a field goal when they knew that the Chiefs got a chance? I mean, the whole point of winning the coin toss is to get the ball first and score
Yeah,
a touchdown.
yeah,
So yeah, I don't know. I mean, but yeah, I'm not the head coach.
no.
Uh,
It's tough because you got to think about it too. Like, there's that same sentiment where you go down, you get the points, you kick the field goal. Maybe your defense, you're kind of like your forefront of your team, who's like you guys are supposed to have touted strong defense and like be able to close it out. That's supposed to be able to close the game out for you. And
I mean,
Patrick Mahomes just marches down the field.
a defense can be as good as any defense.
Yeah,
But every defense gets tired, and unfortunately, that defense was on the field a lot more than it needed to be.
yeah.
Um, and yeah, I mean, all
It's
they
like
look.
go ahead.
My main takeaway, the only thing I could think about the entire time after that day was they knew for an entire year. This is how I felt, at least. They knew, the entire team knew for an entire year that all they had to do to win the Super Bowl that year was play better than Patrick Mahomes. That was it. That was it. That was it. They knew for an entire year that
Yeah,
that was all they had to do,
yeah.
and they didn't do it.
It's a good point.
So that's why I don't. I mean, I've been through every sort of experience with this team in that I've had years where I can genuinely blame the refs, or I can genuinely blame bad calls, or I can genuinely blame injuries,
Yeah,
and I can genuinely blame incompetence.
yeah,
And that was this year, and it sucks because it was. I've never felt as sort of Super Bowl or bust. I mean, I think a
yeah,
lot of people felt that way, but I personally, I mean, someone
yeah.
who's watched every single game for every single year of my entire life, have never felt that strongly about it before. And yeah, that's what happened. So I guess my attitude this year it's not the same as it was last year. My expectations are not nearly as high as they were last year.
Yeah.
Um, as good as the team still looks on paper, I don't know what it's going to look like for them to be good this year.
Yeah.
Last year, we all knew exactly what it was going to look like for
Oh
them to
yeah.
be. I mean, it was set in stone. So
Well, this
I
is
don't
like
know.
this year is like your dying chance. It's like your death wish. It's like this is literally your last like dying wish because after this you're gonna have to play Brock Purdy more than likely, or you can franchise tag him, but you're still gonna be paying him a shit ton of money, and then that's gonna come down the line and hit him later, or you can
Hmm.
start all over with a different quarterback, which supposedly Kyle Shanahan is one of the few people you can do that with consistently. I don't know if that's necessarily true, but hey, so it's kind of like, yeah, you had the whole team around you. Last year you had a bunch of players ready to go, and they just faltered that very last play. You did everything that you could, and you can't blame anyone probably but the coaching. You know,
Yeah.
like it
Um, well, yeah, that and Keandre Greenlaw tearing his Achilles running onto the
wasn't
field.
his fault though.
No, 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 no. I'm not saying it was his fault. I'm just saying the reason they blaming what they could have why they lost.
Yeah, but I mean, at that same, yeah. I mean, at this because you guys also like, I don't know, the Chiefs had injuries too. It wasn't like everyone was healthy. Like,
Absolutely. No,
you know
they
what I mean?
still should have been able. The 49ers
Should have been
specifically
able.
on defense are deep enough to where that should not have
That's
mattered.
what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Especially with an offense that uses the entire field like the Chiefs do.
Yeah,
And
yeah. You guys were missing Hufanga though too, right?
yeah, I mean, and that was for
Yeah,
more than half the year.
yeah,
So, I was I at the, no, I was not at that game. I went to the game when they played the Rams where Hufanga had the interception. I did not go to the game where he tore his ACL.
yeah.
But,
Insane D line. Your pass rush should have been able to influence the game more.
see, that's the thing. Like they were way better on paper than they performed.
Yeah,
Chase Young, what the hell? What was that? I mean,
I
that whole trade in my well, honestly, it could be considered a bust. I mean, like he did not do what Chase Young is supposed to do, and I guarantee you, he's going to go and get paid in free agency and be very, very good and
he went to the
productive
Saints.
anywhere he goes. Saints, okay, yeah, he's going to be very, very good and productive, especially on the Saints. The Saints always have good, productive defensive lines.
Well, I think with him,
So
the issue was he wasn't the number 1 or 2 guy. He was number 3. He had, in order to like truly affect a game as a pass rusher, you have to be at least a 2, because then you have a guy opposite to you. He's not playing every snap, so he's really not going to get into the flow of games. Uh,
yeah, I mean, it's just I guess I was expecting more impact plays. I'm an impact play guy. I mean, like
hard
I
to impact
watch,
play on a team full of
but
impact players. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like
yeah, no, absolutely,
hard to shine.
absolutely. I mean, it's hard. I mean, was he number one or number two overall?
And he was number 1, number 2, one of the 2. He's
Bosa was two, but I mean, think about. I mean, yeah, it's he's getting overshadowed by literally at least eight other guys on an 11-man defense.
but he came in late.
So
He was traded for, to be fair, it wasn't like he was in the
because
industry.
they were doing the all in thing. I
Yeah, yeah,
mean,
yeah, yeah. It wasn't necessarily like, what I'm trying to get is Chase Young still likely could show out this year and have an all-star year. Uh,
mhm.
he's coming off an injury. He wasn't playing with the best situation, and he got traded mid-season I think he got traded at the trade deadline, didn't he? Wasn't it like almost halfway through the season?
Yeah, it was late
It
into it.
was
I mean,
late.
it was a
Yeah,
last minute deadline thing.
yeah,
Yeah,
because they
I don't
traded him
even know.
and
I,
Montez Sweat.
I don't even remember what they gave up, to be
It wasn't
honest.
insane. It wasn't insane, but like it was kind of like one of those things you guys were like, ah, fuck it, let's try to see if we
Well,
can.
they were moving off him anyway, like 'cause they
Yeah,
didn't, yeah.
no, well, they do need him. Commanders just
Yeah. But
they
like,
need
yeah, Washington. I mean, they knew they weren't going anywhere that year. Is what I'm saying. They were in selling position. So
yeah, yeah,
he was
yeah.
their number one asset at the time.
I don't know about that.
Well, who else?
Scary Terry. He's the number 1 asset.
Probably tied.
Yeah, but you also were knowing he was still young. You just signed him to a new contract. You hadn't signed Chase Young yet, so it made sense. Also, Montez
Mhm.
Sweat. I could argue Montez Sweat is
Montez
better than
Sweat is
Chase
great.
Young.
Oh
Uh,
yeah. Well,
and him getting traded to the Bears was not the worst of picks. But yeah, no, you make a good point. And then yeah, you kind of it all faltered apart, fell apart. But now we're turning it around, and you guys lost kind of a decent amount of people in free agency this year. he picked up some decent acquisitions too. Getting into it. I mean, you got re-signings. He signed George Odom again, Jawan Jennings, Joe. Is that Felicano? Is that how you say that?
Feliciano.
Feliciano. That's some fucking Italian.
Yeah.
Yeah, Cole Vicks.
Yeah.
Both were re-signed on 1 year's deal, so you're kind of keeping your O line the same. Decently protected Brock
Which
Purdy.
was all very smart. All those players are
Yeah.
perfect for 1 year deals.
Yeah.
Because it just makes it easy not having to. If you're re-signing those guys, like those are hard positions. I feel like to refill.
Yeah.
So
And they're not
yeah,
like the
it's
most important on the O line. They're like
no, and
two
they're
and three.
yeah, no, and Feliciano. I mean, he's kind of a plug and play guy in my opinion. I mean, like I don't there's the 49ers have had better or more
Yeah.
productive guards.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Hard to pay a bunch of guards or pay a solid O line when you're paying the rest of your players. I mean, you have your highest paid running back in the league. Well, not anymore. Still? No, still because you
I don't
resigned
know. Who
extension.
makes more than him?
You got an extension. He got an extension this year. You got 19. That actually the numbers were a little bit better than what it looked like, but it was supposedly a 2-year, $38 million extension.
Which
And
is
then you
crazy.
then you got freaking Deebo, and then you got and then now the craziest thing is Aiyuk. What are you gonna do with him? So let's get into that. How do you feel about Aiyuk?
Are we
What do you
jumping into
think?
BA?
Yeah,
Um,
or even Deebo. Like, who would you rather have, Deebo or Aiyuk?
oh my God. In all honesty, me personally, I would rather have Deebo.
Wow.
That's not a common answer, I feel like,
Mm-mm.
from what I've been hearing. But yeah, me personally, I'd rather have Deebo. And that it's funny because like I am biased towards Deebo. I love Deebo. He's been my favorite player since they drafted him, literally. Since before he was a renowned superstar.
Young good.
Um, but I think Brandon Ayuk's just more. I love BA. I mean, he's amazing, but he is kind of more replaceable on their offense specifically.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying with anybody they have currently. I'm
Yeah.
just saying.
Well,
Uh,
well, well.
I mean,
That your draft.
Pearsall potentially,
Yeah. There's potential.
but you
Oh,
know,
excuse me.
uh, yeah, I think he's going to resign. I honestly do. I think that
For
there's
what?
a lot. You said what?
For what though? What does
Uh,
it take to keep him? Can you
between
afford it?
29 and 30,
You can't do that with Purdy. You just can't. Like, and you just
they'll trade
they have
him.
to. They
Then
have
they'll trade him. I
to.
mean, it the 49ers, I mean, I'm not saying that they're not the only team that's this way, but the 49ers are very, very, they take care of the guys they draft. Like they don't throw them away I don't know what I'm saying. They're very like I want to say they're very family oriented. It is kind of like corny and cheesy and lame as that sounds. Brandon Ayuk's like grew up a diehard loyal 49ers fan. It it's interesting. He himself is like very conservative, and I never thought like the Bay Area really fit him very well personally.
Hmm.
But and I honestly think he wants to get as much as he possibly can. But I think the 49ers are going to do everything they can to convince him to stay for the right price.
It's tough though because
Because
you're in California and you're getting taxed up the
oh
wazoo.
no, absolutely, and that's what I mean by conservative. I don't even mean like conservative versus liberal, whatever. I
Yeah,
just mean
yeah,
like
yeah.
he's from Reno, Nevada. Like he's very family oriented. Like and he he's not flashy. He's not flashy like Debo's flashy, I
Yeah, I
guess
know
is
what
what I'm
you
saying.
mean.
So like
Reserved,
he
reserved
doesn't
would be a
need to.
better word.
Yeah, no, like you said what would be a better word?
Reserved.
Yeah, he's more reserved, exactly.
Reserved.
So um yeah, I could see him absolutely wanting to play anywhere that would pay him the most.
Yeah.
And it's interesting he wants to go to teams like play with his buddy, Jalen Daniels in Washington, and then a team like the Steelers who want him as well. But I think it's interesting that he would want to play for Mike Tomlin and live in Pittsburgh because I could actually I could see that. Like I could see why he would want to
Even
do that.
Pickens. Oh, oh.
No, I know. Yeah, and
Fields
that's
as the
why.
quarterback too.
Yeah, yeah,
Ooh,
yeah.
because Russ.
But yeah, I mean, see, that's the thing. They're all in. I mean, they're all in on Russ.
which is wild.
So
Which
yeah.
but they do have Arthur Smith. I haven't done the Steelers episode yet, so that one will be interesting. I'll get into it pretty.
hmm hmm
That's fun to talk about. But yeah, there's
yeah,
a
I
lot of
mean,
spots for him.
I have as I love the 49ers obviously, but I also can like I love and respect old awesome franchises like that, and
Yeah.
I think he does too. So yeah, I could see that. And it's I love BA. I absolutely love
Mhm.
him, but I wouldn't be mad if he had to go do what he had to do. And it didn't make sense for the 49ers to resign him. I think it makes sense, and I think they can make it work, and I think he wants to make it work. But I think they're doing more than they should have been doing sooner, if that makes any sense. I think right now they're realizing that and I'm talking about like the conversations, you know? Um,
Yeah, it's just tough because they like you said last year they were all in. So the last thing they're
mhm,
thinking about is the future. What they're thinking about is we want it right now, and you can't go and
mhm.
then like backtrack now. Like, that is the consequence of your decisions in the past. Is now you have to like hit this bitch hard and quick and fast. And if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. Which is why I think. I mean, with the team who's pretty much, I mean, if you look at your offseason signings too, I mean, you signed Leonard Floyd, you got Devondre Campbell, Josh Dobbs as a backup, and then Jordan Elliott. Like, you built your defense up kind of again. Like, you have a
Mhm.
decent, your quarterback position's kind of safe. Like obviously Josh Dobbs beat y'all last year. You know what I mean? Or didn't he? Wasn't for another
Yeah, it
team?
was when he was on the Vikings. He had
Yes.
already gotten traded. It's so weird because like
And
it wasn't that
I picked
long.
this week to win. I picked the Vikings to upset
Oh,
you
you
guys. I
did?
was
Yeah, that's
so
funny. Because I like I said, I went to that week 4 game and he was quarterbacking for the Cardinals. And then he
Yeah,
got traded like I don't know how many weeks later. It wasn't that many weeks later.
no,
That was week 8, wasn't it?
early, something like that. No, no,
That
no, it
was
might
what
have
it's
been earlier than that.
yeah, so and that was like I said, that Arizona game was week 4, and then he was
Yeah,
on the Vikings by like week 8.
yeah,
So
that was crazy.
um yeah, it's funny, like, I actually really, really like Josh Dobbs, but I'm not hearing the best of things out of camp as
Yeah, but
far
camp's camp.
as
We've always seen with him, especially like he
yeah.
ain't a practice guy. He don't show it in practice. He get that put in
Mhm.
that game, and you just see like these
Yeah,
fireworks
some
come out
guys
of
are
him.
like that, and some
And he's a
guys are
great
like
backup to have. You
yeah,
guys have
yeah.
like a decent team. You still are able to like there's not like there's a ton of holes to fill. So if you guys lose this player like that goes away, sure you can replace him. Ricky Pearsall is a good, hopefully, replacement for that talent. But the thing is with Deebo is he's kind of like two dimensional only as a receiver, which is like he's run oriented, and then he
Mhm.
has his like he's not really a burner. He's not like insanely fast down the field.
Unless he's up against Jamal Adams.
But that fool's not on a team. Um,
Is that
so
true?
yeah, he's
Is he
still
not
free agent. He's still free. He's old. What are you laughing about? That
Well,
fool's like
no, I mean,
32.
President Mall,
Yeah, I mean,
and I hate the Seahawks, and
yeah.
you know, I was just rewatching that game literally like 2 or 3 days
Where
ago,
he
and
flipped
there
off.
there was a play where Debo just absolutely burned.
Oh, where he burned him.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is.
for
But
a touchdown. Yeah.
he's not fast because he also got like hurt a bunch.
No, absolutely. But I guess like see that's what I'm saying. Like I mean I don't
And
know.
then I was gonna say he has like the like slant game and intermediate game is kind of like his.
Yeah, like when you ask me would I rather have BA or Debo, and I say Debo, I don't know if that necessarily like is because I think that they would be better with Debo. I just
I
personally
like him better.
like to watch him play. I mean,
Yeah.
so
I feel like he
and
takes away a dimension from your team that you're missing, which is like that's what
right.
Aiyuk gives you, and that's why he's the better fit. That's my opinion. Just because
Yeah, no, and I could see that out too.
you
I
have
mean,
McCaffrey who can do almost the same exact thing that
Yeah, no, 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 for sure. I mean, they don't need Debo. Like
no,
that's the thing. At one point they did. At one point they absolutely did.
definitely.
But now,
McCaffrey
no.
changed
I
that.
mean, yeah. So But yeah, what's next after
Oh,
BA? I mean, I feel like BA is going to resign. If he doesn't, I would be sad, but I wouldn't be, devastated.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, so you guys lost Chase Young, you lost Eric Armstead.
Uh,
Yeah, you guys well,
it's funny. Like I was never really huge on Eric Armstead ever. I
yeah.
was really, really annoyed that they picked him over Buck. Really, and most people were. Everybody was. I mean, I
They
don't
were
know
selling
about everybody. I mean, but most people I talked to and were
it.
not thrilled with
You know
that.
what it probably is the money thing. You know what I mean? It
Oh
was
yeah, for sure.
probably
And then,
a
but
money
then
thing.
also like what I was kind of talking about the 49ers earlier and their family orientation. Eric Armstead's wife was studying to become a doctor at UC Davis at the
Yeah.
time that he was looking to sign. And everybody kind of scoffs at me when I talk about this sort of thing, but like the 49ers like probably took into account that the fact that she was there having a baby, he's from the Bay Area, he wanted to stay and Buck, as good and productive and amazing and as well fit as he was, like they just were like, "Oh, we're going to go with Eric."
I ain't upset by it.
Yeah.
It's
Oh yeah,
benefited
no,
me mentally.
absolutely. Yeah, no. I
That's
didn't even
because
think about that.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's why I
but
was like,
yeah.
"I don't give a shit. Come on.
Yeah,
Let's
no. I
receive him
mean, in
for another 2 years."
yeah, yeah. And there was at one point they were talking about how there was a possibility that they could somehow get him back. But
No way. The Colts
I
weren't.
don't think so. No, I'm not I mean,
I
he's
think it
too
was probably when he had
expensive.
some of those injury concerns too, and they're like, "Oh, like, who knows if
Well,
he can still be productive and yada, yada, yada," but
yeah, I mean, and they have Hargrave, who honestly should have been better. I mean,
I mean, you guys lost
new
Kinlaw too.
new team, new place, new defensive scheme, whatever, new coaches, all that. But like, yeah, I did expect a little bit more out of his first year in terms of productivity. I mean, the
He's still
defense was not as good as it was supposed to be the entire year
yeah,
last
for
year.
sure. Yeah,
So
on paper, you guys were definitely an on paper
I
team,
mean,
and
you had
offense
the
is always gonna be schemed well with Kyle Shanahan, so it's kinda
yeah.
like, okay, if we have a strong defense, necessarily if we who's your guys' coordinator? Didn't you guys fired him last year? It was, Steve
They
was
fired so
Steve
they
Wilks?
hired Steve Wilks for
Yeah, yeah,
1
yeah,
year
that's right.
after D'Amico went to Texas,
Yeah.
and, I loved it, like, I loved the hiring, like, I've always thought Steve Wilks was really good, really competent, but I've loved
Scapegoat firing.
yeah, oh yeah, for sure,
Yeah.
and, yeah, I don't know what that was all about. I honestly could see a scenario where him and Kyle probably didn't get along or
Mm,
something, like,
mm,
internally weird like that. Because
yeah.
there was a point where he's not normally on the field, and then he like, halfway through the season, like, he came down on the field for games, and it was like it wasn't his choice is what I was hearing.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember that.
And then there was a lot of kind of, I think, sort of indirect finger pointing during the postseason, like after the NFC Championship specifically.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it's just weird. I think it's like one of those things where he probably like was a certain type of way and wasn't willing to morph and I don't know, stuff like that happens. I mean, you watch like that's exactly all that kind of crap happened during the Harbaugh era. So
Who's your
uh,
coach now? Who's your defense coordinator now?
so so I it's this is terrible. I can't remember the guy's exact name, but Stokely was hired as the assistant defensive coordinator.
Brandon
From
Stokely?
yes,
Well, like,
yes.
receiver?
No, the coach. Is that his
No,
the
Brandon Stokely was a wide receiver in the NFL.
okay? Who's the Chargers' old head coach that Harbaugh just replaced?
Oh, Brandon Staley.
Staley. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Thank you, thank you,
Yeah,
thank you,
yeah, yeah,
thank you,
yeah. I was
thank
like,
you.
Stokely, that thing
No, no.
oh, wide
Stokely,
receiver.
down the sideline.
Yeah.
Please catch him. Stokely. Oh.
Brandon Staley, yeah,
No,
that
no,
dude's
no,
trash.
no, 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 no.
That dude's trash,
No,
dude.
not Madden 11 intro, Stokely.
You're
No,
also a little bit off-centered again.
my
Just
bad. I was
FYI.
using my phone
You
to
good,
look
you
up
good,
this.
you're good.
But yeah, no, he is the assistant.
Yikes.
He got fired. Jim Harbaugh replaced him, which I was I mean, I'm just salty about like I love Jim Harbaugh, and I'm upset that he's not still currently the head coach of the 49ers, and it's
Yeah, but
Wonder
I mean,
Boy.
him or
Um,
Shanahan, who would you prefer?
who or Shanahan?
Harbaugh.
Oh, Harbaugh.
Really?
Yeah,
Interesting. I don't know about that, especially in the way the NFL's played this day. I think Harbaugh is right in the right position right now, but I don't think you could be operating with a no-name quarterback like Brock Purdy was with.
Harbaugh has flaws. I mean, like I said, I don't. My answers aren't always what I think are the best team to win. um,
I thought we were talking. You were a reasonable fan. You're sounding very unreasonable right now, bruh.
I'm just like we just lost a Super Bowl, so
Yeah,
I'm what's the word?
recency biased.
That and just like um, just salty.
Yeah,
Like,
fair,
I'm just
fair.
mad. Like I
Yeah.
don't, I'm really like this year compared to last year. It's so different. I mean, I don't think it's funny because like I don't think a lot of people feel that way.
Hmm.
But that's because, like you said, a lot of people don't.
They're not reasonable.
They're not reasonable. Yeah.
No, yeah. It's a big change. It's going to be very different, I think, this year for you
No,
guys.
it's and I've just seen this before. This exact. I mean, I can't say exact, but very, very, very similar scenario happened in the Harbaugh era.
Yeah,
Just where you got so close, and
everything
uh,
afterwards.
you get to a point where you can't keep everybody, and
You
things
saw
just
with the
get.
Rams not too long ago. They won the Super Bowl, and they kind of faltered. They're just on the point where they're kind of like, all right, we're going to turn it back around.
And it's crazy because like who's to say that they would have been in the same position the 49ers and are now if they had gotten that McCaffrey signing. I think they probably would have been in a much better position
For sure. For sure.
over.
I think they would have won the Super Bowl last year, to be honest. Yeah, the Rams are. I'm very high on the Rams.
Really?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
I'm high.
As long as
See,
Sam
I'm
Darnold's
probably
there,
as
as long as
high on
Matt
like the
Stafford can stay
Chargers
healthy.
as you are on the
Oh
Rams.
hell no! Oh hell
Everybody
no!
says that, but I'm just a Jim Harbaugh stan.
Nah, 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 nah.
So, and I like Herbert and
Who's gonna? I don't. The way Harbaugh approaches the game is more run, ground and pound, physical, which is great, cool. But at the end of the day, who are you gonna throw the ball to? Because that is what the NFL is at the end of
yeah,
the day.
but and that's what I'm saying. I don't know like much about the Chargers offense,
Mm-mm.
like who they
It's not
have. I
pretty.
mean, they
They don't
don't
have
have
anyone.
anybody. They
They don't
don't
have
have
anyone.
anybody.
They traded away
But
all their
see,
receivers.
and that's what I mean. Like, I'm trying to think. Like, did the 49ers have anybody in 2011? I mean, they did, but like not compared to other
It was a
teams.
different NFL. It was a different NFL. The
Yeah,
NFL has shifted to a pass game within the past 5 years. Back then,
yeah,
the run game was
yeah,
still a very prominent game. You know what I mean? You
yeah.
see guys like Adrian Peterson and yada 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 coming through and making plays and being
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Super Bowl hangover. You guys, we were kind of talking about it with your guys' last game, last time you guys were in the Super Bowl. Was that the last time you were in the Super Bowl? No, it was not. It was 2 times ago. But you guys just also have a Super Bowl hangover the time before, with Jimmy G. So you're coming back around. You are in one of the toughest divisions in the NFL. One of the better teams supposedly in your conference. And you're going to have a first place Super Bowl runner up football schedule, which means it's going to be very hard. How you feeling about going to the season? Where do you see the Niners finishing if you look at the record wise? Give me your thoughts, Christian. Your face.
I honestly, I haven't looked at the schedule recently. I probably should have before I came on here, which is awful. But I mean, they're gonna make the playoffs. If they didn't, I would be very surprised and very sad, as sort of pessimistic as I'm being this offseason. But
You just start
I
off
would.
super easy and then it's just fucking hard the
I
rest of the
mean, but like if they didn't, like Kyle Shanahan would get fired if they didn't, and I think he should be fired if they didn't make the postseason. That'd be very inexcusable.
Your first 4 games here, you play Jets, Vikings, Rams, Patriots, all winnable games, and then from there on, it's just hell.
Yeah, I think the little bit I did glance at the schedule when it first came out, I think that is exactly what I thought. Because yeah, it's that first place runner up schedule, and they just absolutely, you know, uh,
Body job.
bone. Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, like I said, they should make the playoffs.
If
They've
you win a
had a
division,
good. Yeah,
really?
yeah. I mean, who's the Seahawks quarterback? Geno Smith.
Yeah, those Seahawks are the only one I don't think can compete with you guys. I think the Rams and the Cardinals have a better chance.
Who's the Rams running back?
Blake Corum.
Blake Corum.
Yeah, Michigan running back, the dude who was their whole team last year.
Right. They drafted him?
Yeah, in the second round.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Okay.
good pick, good
That'll
pick.
be exciting.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
You need an actual wide
no,
receiving core there too. Matt Stafford, he stays healthy. Cooper Kupp stays healthy. You got Puka out there. I think they who's their wide receiver? Is it still Tyler Higbee out there at tight end for them? I can't remember. But defense is okay. It's not like phenomenal, but it's it's there. And then the Cardinals. Cardinals look good. Cardinals look really good.
Kyler Murray's gonna be fully back.
Marvin Harrison Jr.
Yeah, no, it's gonna be a more competitive, division
Yeah.
this year than it was last year for sure.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, the Super Bowl hangover, I mean, they just went to the Super Bowl in 2019, so it's been like and the team is so different,
Yeah.
from
Yeah.
5 years ago, which I don't think they thought it would be. I mean, I think they thought they were gonna have Jimmy Garoppolo as their quarterback for the next 10 years when they
Yeah.
signed him.
That's fair.
So and then this Purdy thing came from out of nowhere. I really thought Purdy was gonna burn out.
Hey.
I really did. Kinda like how I was hoping other quarterbacks like Patrick Mahomes would have burned out, early in their career.
Why?
Uh, Mahomes specifically, I don't love it when the media, like, adopts people, and I felt like the media adopted Mahomes in the beginning. Now I've turned. I've it's been nonstop consistent greatness, and I
Yeah.
can't deny it. And he's very fun to watch to play. So unfortunately, I have to admit that. But in the beginning, I mean, like when they lost to him in 2019, I hated that. That was like the worst. That was similar to them losing to Russell Wilson in 2014.
Yeah,
It
but
was
in the same
it's
sentiment, like,
just it just I'm not, you know, I'm not like other fans where I look into things so much deeper than they need to be looked at, so like it doesn't it doesn't it's hard for me to talk about sometimes because like I said, I just look into things way deeper than they need to be looked into.
it's fair.
But I look at it all like beyond just what happens on the field.
Yeah.
But
No, I get that. And for like sports as like for me as a whole, I always try to be a sports fan that lives in the moment, which a lot of us think a lot of
yeah,
fans don't. Because it's like you think
yeah,
about like Tom Brady, like I used to hate him so much, and towards the end of his career, I just started appreciating watching. Like I'm watching
yeah, no,
great
exactly.
out, you know what I
Yeah,
mean? And then with Patrick
yeah,
Mahomes, it's the
yeah,
same thing. I'm seeing something that will probably never be done again. A start to a
yeah.
career that is insanely gifted man has been able to
Mhm.
turn it on. He's LeBron-esque, you know what I mean? But in such a
Yeah,
short amount of time, he got to play with that same. I guess it's the same thing. MJ got to play a
it's
little bit with. It's MJ
yeah.
LeBron-esque, you know what I mean?
It's the consistency that I
Yeah,
respect.
yeah,
It's so hard to do that in the NFL. I mean,
yeah.
like,
I'm really excited to see what
just
happens, like when Andy Reid retires, because that's going to happen before Patrick Mahomes stops.
yeah, I mean, and oh yeah, absolutely, and that's the other thing. I mean, I have to. It can't. It's not just one guy. I
No,
mean, like so you just have to respect it. I mean,
yeah,
um, and that's why I said in the very beginning, the 49ers knew all year for an entire year for 365 days, all they had to do was one thing, and that was play better than one guy, and they didn't do it. So It's like you can make every single argument, talking point, whatever you want, off-season talking point, whatever, but they knew, and
Yeah,
in my opinion, that's what they should have known. I mean, I don't know, but like,
they had one guy to
yeah.
but he is the modern
Mhm.
day playing GOAT. He's the greatest right now. He's the BOAT, the best of or
It's
he's the
it's
BOAT.
hard to say otherwise at this
Yeah,
point, and I
he's the
I
best of his
hate
current era.
that. I hate that. I mean,
Don't
I
hate it,
think
appreciate it, man.
no, I mean, but I mean, I'm just saying as a 49ers fan, someone who's given him 2 of his 3 Super Bowls, uh,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah, no, not really. Cause like, I don't know. I've been on both sides of the coin. I was a Colts fan, so I got to watch Tom Brady. You're also like completely. Oh, you okay? You good? Yeah. There you go. Right there, right there. Uh, I get you. What was I saying?
as a
Oh,
Colts fan,
as a
Tom
Colts fan,
Brady,
watching Tom Brady, you know that Peyton Manning Tom Brady rivalry. Like he ended a lot of our seasons, and
yeah,
to turn around at this point in my life, be like, ah, now I need to sit here and just appreciate it. Like you have to. Like
yeah,
people are missing out on sports, and that's why I think people
yeah. No,
what's
I
ruin their
agree.
life is they don't appreciate what's in front of them right
Yeah,
now. Like
no,
cherish season by season, watch everything that you can, appreciate it while it's still what it
yeah.
is today, because you never know next year might be something completely different.
Yeah, no, exactly, and that I have that exact same outlook and opinion on, I know we're talking 49ers in football and NFL, but on the Warriors and their run,
Yeah,
especially when Kevin Durant came around, because
yeah,
it was such a circus. Like, I was, like, not mad when the circus was over. It was just exhausting. Like, it was like to have that high of expectations for that long and have that much media attention constantly. I mean,
it's
it's
great.
exhausting. It's just
It's fun.
absolutely
No, it's
exhausting. It's
awesome.
fun. Oh, absolutely. It's so fun in the moment. And like, I had so many amazing experiences during that time and years.
Yeah,
I'm not just talking about watching it. I mean, like, so much stuff. And, it was, to be young and a huge sports fan at that time, and, looking back on it, it's like I kinda wish not that I didn't appreciate it enough at the time, but I had realized how, you know,
great it was.
amazing it was,
What a run it was. Yeah, people need to appreciate sports. Okay, give me you just in your head. What do you feel like record? I know you haven't looked at the game. What do you feel like? How many wins do you think you guys are getting this year? You got you winning the division, so it gotta be
I was gonna say 12, but now I'm leaning more towards 10.
10 wins. I don't think 10 wins your division.
Well, really?
Mhm. I don't think so, and especially in the NFC. There's gonna be 2 or 3, 4. It's probably gonna be like 5 really good teams,
What if
and
they go,
then
like, 8? What if they get, like, 8 wins and, like, against the
that's
division
8-9. You're under
opponents?
500. The
I'm
highest
s
the Bucks
I
last year were 9-8 and got in, so but that's only because their
that's
division.
what I'm saying. I mean,
That was
even if
only
they
because
didn't
of their
win the
division.
surprisingly, I mean, I don't know, not surprisingly, but, like, the 49ers have, done well on the road in the playoffs. Um,
Yeah, yeah,
so
but if you go 8-9, you're not in the playoffs. That's for sure. You're not getting
no,
you're not getting
but,
in.
like, that's why I said 10.
And yeah, that might be a 7th seed, especially this year. There's so many good teams now, that's the thing. So it's
Yeah,
like, you're gonna
yeah,
have some teams that
it's
are
a
gonna be right
different
there on the cusp, and then their identity is gonna be they just falter at the last moment in games. And then you're gonna have some teams that are surprises, and that's what I'm saying. I think AFC might be more likely where you see a team that goes, 9-8, makes the playoffs. The NFC, I think it's gonna be like there's gonna be a lot of high win teams,
mhm.
unless you're playing in the NFC South.
No, their divisional games are gonna be more important than they were in the past, for
Yeah,
sure.
they're gonna be competitive.
Which is, exciting, but different than it's been in previous last couple of years.
That's
So,
for sure. That's for sure. And you
uh,
guys are one of the few teams too that doesn't have a week 1, division game, which is kinda nice for you.
yeah, yeah.
You guys
Is
play.
that that's the Jets?
Yeah, yeah, that's your
Is
week 1.
that a normal afternoon game or is that a national game?
You guys are you guys
I
the
think it's like Monday Night Football.
you guys are Monday Night Football.
Yeah, Aaron Rodgers again on week 1 Monday Night Football.
Yikes. Yikes. At least it's at Niners and not at Jets,
Yeah, they're at home. Yeah, so
He gets hurt the first game, dude. Fuck, dude. Fuck.
I love Aaron, but I feel bad that he's has to do this. I mean, it's like
Yeah, I'm sure he
he should
wants
have retired. I mean,
tired.
he just should have retired.
Yeah.
Um,
So, final conclusions on the Niners. So, I mean, definitely fuck them. You know, the worst team, worst fandom. Fuck, man. Oblivious to the rest of the world. Thinks they're the best. God, Tech Nation. I think I'm more biased because I live here and I've seen just like the bullshit we go through. But obviously, that's
the one thing I will say to that I could see for sure is like I hate this living in the past. I've never seen a 49ers Super Bowl
Mm,
win ever
mm,
in my life. I was
mm.
born in 1998. The last time the 49ers won the Super Bowl was in 1998. I think it was the 94 season, so it would have been 95.
Yeah,
Um, so yeah, no, I've never seen this 49ers. That's 49ers win a Super Bowl. So like all this living in the past crap
tough.
sucks, and I
Mhm.
hate it.
Well,
As much as I love admiring it and knowing about it and all that, because I'm a huge history guy. But yeah, no,
you'll be living in the past for a while longer because I don't see them winning another Super Bowl at least this year. It's gonna probably be at least another year or two because you'll have to completely get.
it's gonna be a completely different team at that point. I
That's what I'm saying.
mean,
You guys will have to get hit on a couple drafts, and turn that team around because it's gonna be expensive. The players you have around them. We'll see what happens. Uh, any closing thoughts for the Niners? Any final thoughts you got on them bad boys?
they need to win the division
Yeah.
because Cody said they can't.
I didn't say they can't. They're just not my pick to win it.
Yeah, I mean, we'll
Well,
see.
I think any of the teams could win the division. That's my opinion. I just don't think the Niners are the ones they're going to do. If they did it, I wouldn't be like, "Oh my god, I never saw this coming." I just don't pick them to win it.
We'll see. We'll
Not
see.
this year. I think it's gonna be different. All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you guys like this content, please consider liking, subscribing, hit that notification bell. Christian, I appreciate you joining us. We'll get you on another one here, and go smoke some fucking weed. Peace.